Okay. So the biggest thing is to focus on a person's belief. One of the places where this might come up is that when you're dealing with people, sometimes we deal with people who recognize that they have some issues maybe that they're struggling with. And we always want to kind of keep in our head a hierarchy of sorts in our mind. So then maybe maybe we're dealing with someone and we notice that there's like five issues, for example. Shouldn't, I mean, it's not necessarily that like we're analyzing everyone in this way, but maybe you recognize like, okay, this person, maybe they even tell you, I'm struggling with this and this and this and this. And one of those might be higher priority than the other one. So I'm not going to attack the lower one and ignore the higher one, right? This happens very common in parenting and community work and stuff like this. Sometimes we put the emphasis in the wrong place. It's like we're really pushing people on some issue, but if you were to sit and talk to them, you realize that actually their belief is not even sound. Like they're actually questioning whether or not they believe in Islam in the first place. And we're pushing them on like some secondary issue. Okay, maybe the secondary issue then is not the priority. We have to focus on the higher issue. Sometimes even, sometimes maybe, or maybe you're dealing with someone and they have like all kinds of intellectual issues. And you hear them and you try to support them and help them and so on. But you realize that their intellectual issues are actually stemming from some emotional issues. Maybe there's some mental health issues, there's some emotional issues that are going on. And you could answer every single question that they have. But until the underlying thing gets dealt with, there's just going to be more questions. More questions will come. So like maybe, yeah, you can answer them, but at least in your mind, you're not kind of prioritizing that. You're prioritizing having the kind of relationship with them that would help them to be able to heal, help them to support them, being able to give them the kind of resources that might help them, and so on and so forth. So these things are very kind of important to understand because what is the point? The point is an asl is ma yubna alayhi ghayruhu. The asl is ma yubna alayhi ghayruhu. It's that thing that other things are built on. And the far' is ma yanbani ala ghayrihi. And the far' is that thing that is built upon other things. Okay? So what happens if you deal with the far' and the asl is not taken care of? Doesn't do anything, right? It goes away. But if you get the asl right, then other things can come from the asl. And this is why, sometimes hmm, go off the deep end. Why not? You've been patient this far. Might as well entertain you by going off the deep end a little bit. So you'll find different things sometimes from spiritual teachers. You'll find some spiritual teachers, they like to talk about matters of spirituality. Like they go into all kinds of things, all kinds of like matters of the heart and spirituality and the unseen and like all kinds of stuff. And everyone loves it, because it's like fun. But is it the actual point? No, right? And you'll have other teachers who will tell you almost nothing. You ask them for advice and they'll be like, you should pray. Ask, yeah, Sheikh, I need advice. Can you give me some nasiha? Yes, have sabr and make dhikr. You're like, okay, sabr and dhikr seems pretty foundational. Yeah. Why? Because if you get that right, other things can be built upon it. But if you start floating around in fairy tale land and you don't get the foundational things right, you're not going to have anything in the end. So, like, the secondary things can become a barrier actually from getting the foundational things right. And then someone will look at them and be like, well, this person, they don't know about these things, or they don't know about these things. Why do they not know about these things? Well, they never talk about them. Just because they don't talk about them doesn't mean that they don't know about them. They just don't think it's beneficial for you to hear about it because it becomes a barrier between you and Allah.